CQ the old friends net. This is N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. Steve in Shelby, North Carolina, calling CQ the old friends net. The old friends net is an amplitude modulation net only, and we operate in the round table fashion where we take check-ins and put them in order, and you will follow that order. It's a great place to find parts, converse about vintage equipment, and any other topics of interest. We meet here on 3715 every Sunday at 4 p.m. and Tuesday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 9 a.m. This is N4LQ, now listening for check-ins. All right, a minute late. This is N4LQ calling CQ the old friends net. This time not into a dummy load, but into an actual antenna. The old friends net is a AM only net. Anybody using AM can check in. We operate in the round table fashion. We operate here at 3715 at 4 p.m. every Sunday, 9 a.m. on Thursday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. 3715 kilocycles. Great place to find parts, trade equipment, or talk about the subject of your choice. Anybody wishing to check in, call in for LQ.
Hey, Steve. WA4LLR.
W4KR.
WF2U.
KN4R. KZ4 Bravo.
N4LIQ.
WB4NKL.
WA4FJQ.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4 AK.
Okay, that was a good orderly check-in there. Let's see. Did I hear W4MEC or did I miss you, Charlie? Yeah, I guess not. Okay, here's what I have so far. WA4LLR, W4KR, WF2U, KN4R, KZ4B, N4IYQ, WB4NKL, WB4FJQ, WA4FJQ, K4JAL, and N4AK. Any more check-ins?
WN4PFI.
All right, got Doak, WN4PFI. Any more? That's a pretty good crowd. I was afraid everybody would be late, and I actually loaded up on my dummy load and sat there and called the net and let off the mic, and I didn't hear anybody. I thought, oh, great. Everybody's got the time wrong but me. A bunch of dummies. Turned out I was on the dummy load, so now I'm on the antenna. Boy, I tell you, getting old is rough. Anyway, it's beautiful sunny day here, 60 degrees according to the thermometer, and we're running the AF-68 and amplifier and the loop antenna, and everything's just peachy. So let's go ahead and start the roundup. WA4LLR, Dave, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, N4LQ, WA4LLR. Good afternoon to everybody. We've got a lot of sunshine, but it's 42, 43 degrees and really windy. So it's a little bit brisk out there, but I think it's supposed to start warming back up tomorrow, which is fine with me. Not a lot going on. Good church service this morning. Got home, had a good lunch. I've just been taking it easy this afternoon. As usual on Sunday afternoon, ran to BC610C and receiving on the HQ150. So, down to you, Stan. W4KR, WA4LLR.
Yeah, okay, Dave. Good afternoon to you. WA4LLR. And a sunny afternoon, old friends. W4KR in Walhalla. Suburban Walhalla, that is. Let's see. Temperature is about 50. Is not about. Temperature is 56 here right now. A little bit lower than yours, Dave. 56 degrees. Breezy, sunny but breezy. High pressure area blowing through, obviously. Viking 2, 75A4, the usual fare for Sunday afternoon. Had the HRO60 on last week and ran it for a few days and kind of was seeing, okay, what's going to need to get fixed. So it's back on the bench, and it's changed a whole bunch of paper capacity times, but so be it. So back to the good trusty A4. Mayor, here it comes. WF2U and the gang, W4KR.
Okay, Mayor, very good. WF2U and the Sunday old friends. This is Brian, KN4R, Cheryl's Ford, where it's 55 degrees. Beautiful blue sky. It was windy earlier, but it's died down for the moment here. But been having great fun out in the garage. I'm trying to bring up a few receivers, including a German receiver right now, but I'm getting close, and then I've got a couple others to check out. But so having fun today, and Mir, I only got about 20% of that. I don't know if conditions are just bad between you and me or what, but you weren't as strong as you normally are. But anyway, I'm on the Globe Champ 350 here, the Hummy transmitter, and listening on the old black rack mount HRO. So let's keep it moving. John, what you got? KZ4B and the group KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business there, Brian. It's still windy here. I guess maybe it's coming in from the west, the calmness, and just hadn't got to us yet. The handle is John. QTH is the east side of Lake Norman. And the rig is the usual T150 driving an Ameritron AL-1500, feeding a resonant horizontal 80 meters inverted V up about 75 feet at the apex. And the receiver is a Palstar PR30 with the optional SE3 synchronous detector from Sherwood. And I think it's the time of day, but Mir, I could not hear you at all. So maybe we need to reschedule the net later for better propagation for some of us. And you may be having trouble with me as well. So, Steve, before I forget, and it just fell on the floor. Let's see, where is it? I've got a note here. I checked on that solid state kit, and it didn't sound like it was the same outfit that you used, but I could be wrong. It's by James Haggerty, Hagarty, WA1FFL, and there was an article in June 2011 CQ for his amplifier, and I don't know when or if the VFO showed up, but the circuit board has a date of 2008. So that's all I know. So take it away. N4 IYQ in the group, KZ4B, over.
Okay, John, KZ4B and the old friends, N4 IYQ. Good afternoon all the way around. We've got about 47 degrees, and it's been quite breezy here today. A little bit of wind, looks like at about 14 mile an hour right now. And we're on the multi-Elmac AF-68, receiving on the PMIR-8, driving the SP221. Enjoyed the Hamfest yesterday, getting to see quite a few of you. And the rain was horrific going across the mountain. We went across down Jonas Ridge, down through Morganton, and across 40 and down 321 to 85, and it was quite rainy and quite nasty. We left about 4:15 or 4:20 from Cliff's QTH with Mark W4WWC, but certainly enjoyed getting to see the ones that we did get, the ones that we didn't. We looked forward to seeing you down the road. And I couldn't get anything on Mir. I could tell there was a signal there, but no audio, but it could just be the time of day. WB4 NKL, my neighbor, to pick it up and take it, N4 IYQ.
N4 IYQ, it's WB4 NKL. Okay, Chuck. Good copy. This is Cliff, located in Limestone, Tennessee. And I got the Globe King 500 back online here today. Retuned it from 160 down to 75. And running into the 160 meter antenna. Hey, I enjoyed the trip there yesterday. Chuck, he did the driving, and I'm glad I did. I just sat in the back and kept my eyes closed. But it was a pretty rough day there with the rain and everything. But I did enjoy seeing a few of the guys down there at the Hamfest. I've got about 45 degrees here and quite windy. I did take a walk a while ago and for about 4 miles. And I finally warmed up, and I got about halfway through it, but it's kind of hard to stay warm with the wind blowing it like it is. So I'll send it on down to Tom at High Point, WA4FJQ. It's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL. This is WB4FJQ. WA4FJQ. Don't even know my own call. Yeah, thanks for turning it over to me here. Having a little problems with some of the stations. Mir, I couldn't copy at all, 0. I didn't even know he was there. And Stan was pretty weak. Dave, you're strong, and Cliff, you're pretty strong here as well. But I wonder about the time of day. If we just don't have the propagation that we would get later on in the evening here. But beautiful day here, windy, probably around 60 or so, something like that. The rig here in High Point is the AF-68, and it's feeding 30L1 linear and receiving on the 75 S3C, and up to an in-fed half-wave wire. So that's about all I've got. I'll see how the reception goes through the next cycle here. So let me turn it over to Jimmy. K4JAL. This is WA4FJQ.
K4JAL. Go ahead. Hey Jim, JAL, do you copy? Yeah, Roger. Okay, he's got some kind of problem there. Okay, go ahead, Glenn, N4AK.
Right. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo, handle Glenn. We're in Sunset, South Carolina, about 15 minutes north of Pickens. This afternoon we're cheating and operating our FT991 Alpha AL811H, about 125 watts, somewhere in there. Conditions are not very good. I didn't hear Mir at all. Was having a problem copying Tom. 57 degrees and sunny and windy over here in Sunset this afternoon. I had a bit of luck yesterday while tuning around on 17 meters. I copied and talked to Vietnam. His call was 3 Whiskey 9 Tango. 3 Whiskey 9 Tango. They used to have an X-Ray Victor or something like that. And it just so happens that in 1970, I'm sorry, the date is 1967, I was in Pleiku, Vietnam. And yesterday, I talked to a station that was right outside of Pleiku, Vietnam, my first Vietnam contact. The fellow's a retired Dutchman. He's an electronics engineer, and he has some health problems, but he's retired in Vietnam, so it's very easy to understand his language. So if he was only a 5'4", and of course a big power-up, but he seems to be hanging out around 18.155. So I'll keep things running, and Brian, thanks for forwarding those images of the Charlotte Hamfest. WN4PFI, dope, and 4 Alpha Kilo.
Okay, Glenn, very good. Congratulations, I guess, there on Vietnam. Session I have never been able to work yet, but that's pretty good, Glenn, that you've worked them. It is about 40 degrees here in Suches. It is extremely windy. It is roared. The wind has roared here all night. And it's starting to die down some now. I'm on the usual DX60 and the amplifier. I am listening on different receiver today in National NC173. National NC173. I am unable to hear Mir, Tom, Brian, and John so far. I cannot copy them at all. Steve, you have very good signal, as does Dave and Stan and Cliff and Glenn. Y'all are all good signals here. Back to you, Steve. N4LQ, WN4PFI.
Okay, thanks a lot, Doak. It's N4LQ. Anybody else out there that would like to check in, call now.
November 4 Whiskey Delta. You can hear?
All right, got you, Bruce. Anybody else?
Copy in everybody today. 60 degrees, sunny, heavy breeze, chilly. Get down to freezing tonight. Everybody have a good rest of the weekend. N4LQ, N4WD.
All right, we'll keep you on the list here. N4WD, where it is 60. It's the same temperature we got here, Bruce. And you're doing okay. Copying you okay. Copy everybody real good, except for Mir. Mir's, last I heard, I think he said something about trying to run a G76 barefoot, which is, I don't know how much power, maybe 40, 50 watts or something like that. So I'm not sure, but I could see the carrier. But just every now and then I'd hear a little modulation from you, Mir. So whatever it is you're running is just not quite got it. And I hope you can copy everybody else. And Jimmy's having some kind of problem, JAL. I heard him say it was on his end, so I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the amplifier kicking out on him due to SWR, usually what it is. And Doak is receiving on an NC173 and had trouble hearing a few of us. But for the most part, it's pretty good considering the time changed so much. And don't worry, it'll eventually catch up with us. And I don't know, moving that time to 5 o'clock, it gets a lot of complaints about supper time interference and family and so forth. So it's kind of a juggling act. Anyway, we ordered Domino's pizza today, had it delivered, and we wanted to try their pan pizza, and it was pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Pizza Hut, but it's pretty good. And the Hamfest yesterday, I got up and drove through rain for an hour and 20 minutes, and it was hard rain and fog and mist, and it was kind of hard to see, so it was a bit dangerous. But we made it, and took a while to get through security, and the security there is so tight, and they don't even open the door until 8:30. So it's kind of a late Hamfest, if you ask me. But we finally got in and looked around a while and saw some of the friends, the old friends and new friends, and some of the over the hill gang and so forth. Had a good time and left about 10 o'clock. Came home, went up to Cherryville and ate dinner at the small town restaurant, it's called. Kind of a mom and pop type place. So that's the story here. Let's go around one more time, and I would say conditions are going to just keep getting better. Let's see, Doak, you can try turning it to Bruce, N4WD, if he can copy you. I would say he's probably more likely to copy you than anybody else. And then Bruce, turn it back to me. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, N4LQ in the group, WA4LR. Well, I'm copying everybody but Mir. and I could see his carrier, and every now and then I could hear a little bit of modulation, faint. But everybody else is doing okay. Yeah, Jimmy's amp was kicking out on him. But anyway, enjoyed the Old Friends Luncheon on Thursday. Not a big turnout, but had a good time. And didn't try the Ham Fest. That rain was really coming down here Saturday morning, so we stayed put. I don't think we even left the house Saturday. I'm just curious. Nobody mentioned what they brought back from the Ham Fest, so I'm just curious about who found what treasure down there. Did enjoy Nick England's pictures. Looked like a pretty good array of equipment to be made available. But didn't see anything I didn't think I was extremely in need of. Part of conditions may be due to an M7 class solar flare we had this morning. Conditions have settled down quite a bit, but it took place around 8:15 this morning, and produced a radio blackout over Africa and South Atlantic. But they're saying right now our sunspot count's 199, solar flux index is 135, and decay has settled down to 1.33. And Glenn, fine business on the Vietnam QSO. That's great. Congratulations. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 1933, the Nazis opened their first concentration camp at Dachau, where at least 32,000 people would lose their life. I have visited Dachau. It's a very sobering place. On this day in 2006, the NASA Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter entered Mars orbit and began looking for signs of water. On this day in 1969, James Earl Ray pled guilty to the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. On this day in 1949, American citizen Mildred Gillers, who earned the nickname Axis Sally as a radio propagandist for the Nazi government, was convicted of treason, served 12 years in prison. On this day in 1913, a gentleman by the name of William Knox became the first bowler to bowl a perfect score of 300 in the American tournament. And on this day in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell's liquid transmitter made the first transmission of speech as far as telephone goes. So there you go. Here comes Stan, W4KR, WA4LLR.
All right, Dave, WA4LLR, W4KR. Dave, it's always a pleasure to follow you because it's you find some real. Whoa, hold on here. There we go. You find some real interesting stuff to bring to the table, Dave, and I for one appreciate it. Thank you for doing that. Well, looks like Mir is in the barrel today. He had a beautiful solid S9 carrier out here, but like other guys have been saying, no modulation, very little anyway. In and out, I guess he's on top of the mic 1 minute and 10 feet away the next or something. Anyway, let's see, what else do we know? I was curious, somebody mentioned, I think maybe it was Brian, security at Charlotte. I wonder what that's all about. Went over to the Charlotte Fest a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't recall there being any security at all. Actually, nice facility, very nice facility there there outside of Charlotte. Look good. Got an email. Some of you all may have gotten it also yesterday from the Orlando Hamcation folks. With two things. They were announcing the dates for next year. It's going to be, I believe, the 7th and the 8th of February. And they announced their attendance number for 2014. was 24,500 and some odd, 24,540 or something just close to that. I don't have that piece of paper in front of me, but I recall that they're getting very, very close to Dayton, and it sure wouldn't surprise me if they snuck past Xenia one of these days. Steve, the timing is tricky. We're some of us got our heads together as to what we're going to do on Tuesday nights with the SAMRC net. We're going to leave it at 6 o'clock for a while. 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. We ran it for a while last year at 7 o'clock during the middle of the summer. I have a hunch we might do that again. Move it an hour later, which would get it back to regular time, really. But we'll see. If we had to vote on it and somebody said 5 o'clock, I would say no, that's dinner time in Walhalla, so kind of not to be. Mira, give it another shot. I'm going to sign with this one, so 7-3s, everybody. I'll listen around, but then it's going to be dinner time here about. To you, Mira, and good luck with what's ever going on over there. At WF2U, this is W4KR.
W4KR, this is WFCU. Can you copy now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. W4KR in the net, this is WFCU. Okay. Looks like the Gonka G76 doesn't like my D104, which I'll be using with the DX100B. So I'm using a short that I used to use with this transceiver before when I was on like 4 or 5 years ago with it. Anyway, putting out about 35 watts, so that's all that it's got. One second. Yeah, this is just about it. Hello. As long as it doesn't take off. Okay, looks like I have some modulation. I hope everybody got it. The shooting is not calibrated here, and most of the signals here is, as I said, sorry, 10 over 9. Some are 20 over 9, and some are at 9, so conditions are not too bad, and especially John is one of the strongest stations here, KZ4B. Anyway, I'll keep it short, I hope. WFU.
Okay, Mayor. WF2U in the group, KN4R. Well, that was better, Mir. You had much better modulation, and signals are coming up a bit too. So I copied about 80 or 85% of that. So that's good. So Stan, if you're still listening, I think the issue was that on Saturday, the Hamfest didn't open the doors until 8:30 a.m., so there was people outside trying to get out of the rain. So my assumption is that was the security. I guess they had some real tight rules from the facility folks there, but I don't know all the details. But let's see, Glenn, congratulations on your 3 Whiskey 9 Tango. That sounds wonderful. And it's interesting that the Dutch electrical engineer or electronics engineer ended up retired there outside of Pleiku. That'd be interesting. I wonder, I'd like to know the monetary situation there. It's like, if the difference is kind of like Mexico versus the U.S. and that kind of thing. So, but Yeah, very good. And I heard Bruce, most of Bruce, and Stan, very good on the hamcation numbers. That's pretty amazing. And let's see, Steve, the small town restaurant in Cherryville sounds good. Let's see, Sevierville is Saturday. I'm not going to attend. I'm going to save my few dollars for the Antique Wireless meet, which is the following weekend. Actually, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the weekend after this one. So a lot of stuff right there together. So I hope everybody has a wonderful time there at Sevierville, and hope somebody takes pictures there. So, and the only thing I brought back, Dave, was a radio I had sold my neighbor about 3 or 4 years ago. It was one of the NC100X. It's one of the Art Deco looking ones with the chrome on the front and the red, and it's the first moving coil receiver. This one happened to have a crystal installed, so it was an NC100X, but it still had the magic eye, so it was the original version. And I had sold it to John, and it was pretty clean, I think, when I sold it to John, and he sold it back to me, so that was good. So that's about it, though. So anyway, John, I enjoyed the pictures, Nick's pictures of the Hamfest on Saturday. I can't remember if you or your buddy Mike were both dozing or just Mike, but it was nice looking around the Hamfest in those pictures. So anyway, over to you, John. KZ4B in the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business there, Brian. Missed you at the Friday luncheon. I had to go over there all by myself, but Steve's house was where we left it, so no problems coming or going. But it was tough getting to the Hamfest. You talk about getting dumped on, and Highway 73 is bumper to bumper. That's how I go to get to Concord, and that sucker needs to be 6 lanes, not 4. So the rain was not very helpful. Let's see. Glenn, if you'll repeat the frequency you heard 3 Whiskey 9 Tango on, I got the 155, but I didn't catch what came before. This early conditions here are pretty rough. My next door neighbor's solar system is maxed out, so there's quite a buzz in the background. I would vote for going as late as humanly possible on the Sunday net. I would vote for 6 o'clock or later, and that's my 2 cents worth. And Mir, I'm having, I couldn't even copy you the last time. I did hear you in there a little bit, but normally, you're good copy, but just not enough with the barefoot transmitter. Let's see, what else was I going to comment on? Oh dear. At the Hamfest, I bought a MC60A Kenwood microphone. The Alenco transceivers will take a Kenwood mic connector and mic, so it's a real easy upgrade. The Alenco hand mic is marginal at best. And I also picked up a Ameritron, I guess it would be an AL800. It has a single 3CX800A7 in it. The transmitter was defective. It was sold as defective. And the guy said the tube he had 2 tubes. One he said was good, and they're impossible to find. although I have several spares, so I think I'm okay, even if they're bad. But he said one was full output, and but that he didn't know exactly what was wrong with it, but the power supply was working, but the tube was zero output. And so I have a project, and you know, all the external anode tubes are getting to be unobtainium, but since I have all these Titan 1s, then I have quite a few spare 3CX800s that I bought back when you could get them right. So that's the big news from here. Chuck, take it away. N4IYQ in the group. Over to you, KZ4B.
Okay, John, KZ4 Bravo from N4IYQ. And good all around. Got a little bit of mirror the last go around. The audio certainly came up as he was adjusting or changing. I could hear some of it. And Dave, thanks as always for the history lesson, what was going on in years past. And fine business on Hamcation. Yeah, we got the email where they were up some in attendance, and that's certainly good. And looks like they're tracking about, well, I don't know about last year, but tracking about 8,500 behind Dayton. We enjoyed Orlando. Was surprised that there wasn't more commercial stuff, but I guess Dayton spoils you after you go a few times. And with Dayton, it's always a toss-up as to the weather, as everyone knows. We came home with a rig, not from the Hamfest, but one of Jim's rigs. W4W was certainly kind to bring it and deliver it, and got it home and played around with it a little bit. And we're, like I say, we're looking forward to going to Sevierville. And I did notice that Cliff at times had his eyes closed going across Jonas Ridge, and I kept telling Mark to not push my floorboard out into the ground and break the handle up over the door. But we always enjoy going, as Tammy says, I don't know that you go as much to do the radio stuff. You enjoy going to see the people that you know and enjoy hanging out with. Hey, I'll make this my last one. Got a couple things to do. Certainly good to hear everyone. Band, you know, is what it is at 4 o'clock, which is, you know, really 3 o'clock as of yesterday. And we look forward to catching you guys next weekend. WB4 NKL to pick it up and take it. N4IYQ. Good day, everyone.
N4IYQ, WB4 NKL. I appreciated the ride over there yesterday. Again, looking forward to the little Hamfest coming up. So I'm going to say 73 too, and get on out. Everybody's good signal here today, except the audio was a little low, copied everybody else. So enjoyed it, and thanks for calling, Steve. Back to you, Tom. WA4 FJQ, WB4 NKL.
Tom, FJQ, it's your turn.
WB4 NKL, this is WA4 FJQ. Okay, thanks, Steve, for giving me a heads up. No copy on Cliff. He was really strong, and now nothing, zero. And that's the situation with Mir and several other stations. Just the QSB and the QRM is such that I'm not copying, but just a handful of stations here. So thanks for turning it over to me. John, KZ4B, you probably are copying me okay down there. I ordered a QRM eliminator built over in Holland. Be here this week sometime. Gets really good reviews online. Maybe it'll help with some of the noise and so forth in the shack here. If it works out well, I'll report it next weekend and give you a heads up on that. I think you've got the same kind of electrical problems that I have. But that's about all I've got to say. I worked all afternoon trying to get a software program for a digital mode working, and it works, but the old copy is still there, and they fight with each other. So that's the way I spent my afternoon. Let me turn it over to Jimmy. I don't know if he's there. If not, he goes to Glenn. But I'll go to Jimmy, and then I guess Glenn N4AK can pick it up if no copy on Jimmy. So K4JAL, this is WA4FJQ.
K4JAL, are you copying there at all, Jimmy?
Yeah, but my amp still isn't working. I'm going to turn this thing off. I'm going to go down to 25 watts and see if I can get... Okay, K4JAL. I don't know whether I'm readable or not, Steve. I guess I'm going to have to tear into this RM Italy and see what bothers it. At 25 watts, I don't know whether I can make it down there to you. Over to you. N4LQ, K4JAL.
All right, 25 watts, making it fine here, Jim. Okay, go ahead, Glenn.
Okay. So we have summertime propagation already. So I vote for 6 o'clock or 5 or whatever, something later. But anyway, still no copy on mirror that go around. Fellas, I'm hearing a group of fellas up a little bit north of us consistently operating on 3.999. That's a little close, but I think you have to be 40 dB down. As long as you're 40 dB plus down and you're on the band edge, you're okay. And I looked at them, and they were pretty straight down, but y'all might listen from time to time, see what you think. So I hear them quite often on 3.999. I always give myself about 3 kc just in case. I'm operating with a FT991, which is kind of software control radio. You got to have a little you punch your finger in to change modes and everything else. But if you ever worked FL Digi, there's FL Digi puts out something called FL Rig, FL Rig, R-I-G, and it will control these radios with a mouse, which if your little screen is a little small and your fingers are a little large and you can operate a mouse, you put up a little image on your TV and you operate all your parameters with a mouse. That means your 7300s, your FTDX10s and all that. The FL Rig will run those. John, KZ4B, you asked a question on the Vietnam station. It was on 17 meters, 18.155, 18.155, 17 meters. And he's operating split, actually, so you want to be about 5 up. Dave, all right, on you visiting Dachau. I was over there in the Army in 65 and stationed right above Munich, so Mary and I visited Dachau too, and also that bigger place over in Poland. It's horrible. It's unimaginable. Let's see. For the first time, no copy on Cliff, so it's all about propagation. So thanks for doing an in for us this afternoon, Dave, and I'll pass it on down to Doak with his NC173, WN4PFI, November 4, Alpha Kilo.
Okay, Glenn, N4AK, this is WN4PFI. I had lots of increases that time on a copy here, copied mirror, and I'm pretty well. Brian, John, Chuck. Still couldn't copy Jim, but everybody else came up where I was able to copy just about everybody. It's apparently things changed, conditions changed a little bit, and it's good to hear everybody on today. I always enjoy just sitting and listening. I learn a lot more. I learn a lot more from you guys than you realize. Of course, my grandfather taught me a lot of things. When I was growing up, I had two dads, my dad and then my granddad to live with us, and that was a little strenuous at times because they were always at odds about how you should raise or rear children. As my English teacher used to tell me, you raise chickens, but you rear children. But Steve, I'll make this my last one, but I'll be listening around for maybe a little bit. Thank you. Have a good signal here today, by the way, and I just wanted to thank everybody for letting me be a part of this. I need to get over to Spartanburg sometime just to see y'all at least once before I get too old to travel. So, Bruce, you go ahead and take it. I'm copying you just fine here today. And, Steve, as I said, thanks for calling in that. You always do a good job. Bruce, N4WD. This is WN4PFI, and I'll be clear but listening. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Okay, 4NKL, 4WD. I heard it's real good. That I was hearing better, but I'm like Dave. I think the sun splatters and gets the best of it. So we'll 773 to everybody. Have a good week coming up. Hopefully, and the last 2 or 3 nights, Steve on 160.
Okay, Bruce, this N4LQ and the old friends net, and let's see, yeah, last night static was ferocious. They keep getting thunderstorms out on the ocean, and that propagates pretty well over to this area on 160, and it was just tearing us up last night on the AM. We finally switched over to sideband and concluded the meeting, but they worked good. I mean, sideband, I could hardly tell there was any static there, but with AM, it was just unbearable. So anyway, we may think about continuing doing that. I think there's mixed feelings about it. It's a chance to use our old equipment and give it some exercise and have fun with it. But then again, it doesn't work quite as well under bad conditions. And today, I think the band was just weak anyway. It's still weak. It's just not quite what it has been. And I was up on 40, was almost dead the last few hours. So it's not just the time change. There's more to it than that. But I am copying everybody. For some reason, Cliff went down, and I think he lost power or something. He was just really weak. He was the weakest one. But Mir was, you were doing better. I mean, 35 watts, you can't expect that to do too great of a job, and probably better off on your DX100 than anything else. And we could probably hear you really well with that. Let's see, comments from Glenn about the frequency on 17 meters for Vietnam. John, if you didn't copy, it was 18.155, and the guy was listening 5 kc up for 18.155 and 5 up, and fine on the people operating on 3.999. Well, I guess they're operating lower sideband, so that pops them down below the top of the band. And as long as your opposite sideband suppression is good, then you'll be okay, I guess. I wouldn't want to risk it, but there you go. And it just hit me that Charlie's probably at Lee's memorial service today. I think that's today at 10 p.m. At least I think that's what he told me at the Inman Presbyterian Church tonight. So maybe he's tied up at that. He had me take the net today for that reason. He should be back next Sunday. Tuesday it's me again, and then on Thursday it's Dave, LLR. Let's see. You'll find on the FJQ and his QRM eliminator from Holland. Send us a link on that one, Tom, if you're listening, because I'm not familiar with that one. And let's see. Oh, what we bought at Charlotte, I bought a flashlight, and that's all. And I really went there with that in mind. I wanted a super bright small flashlight, and I found one that's 500 lumens, and at dark I can go out in the front yard and it lights up the entire front of the house, and it's really, really bright. So I was glad to get that, and that's all I got. I didn't see anything else I needed. Just had a good time talking to folks. Security is something I guess has always been there, but the ticket said the Hamfest starts at 8:30, doors open at 8 o'clock. Well, there's a good opportunity for confusion right there. So I got there early. I got there about 8:15, and they keep you outside. They won't let you in the vestibule until 8 o'clock, and that's what they meant by doors open. Then there's other doors to go into the Hamfest, which are guarded and locked. So there was people outside pounding on the door, and they were yelling about having to go to the bathroom. Well, finally, this guard let them in and told them that they would have to be individually escorted to the restroom if they wanted to use the restroom under security. And it got crazier after that. And finally, 8 o'clock came, and they let us in the lobby, and people were buying tickets. Of course, I already had my ticket, but they wouldn't let us go into the Hamfest. And I went back out in the car and grabbed something, brought it in, said, I'm going to the flea market. And they said, well, you have to go around back to do that. I said, it's raining, let me in. They said, well, I'm going to have to get a guard. And they got a guard, and they marched me all the way back to the table, to where Brian's table was, under security, and let me set the item on the table. And that's what I mean by security. It's just kind of strange, I think. I don't know. I'd prefer outdoor country Hamfest much better than that shenanigans. Anyway, I didn't much like that, and I doubt if I go back. It's just too much silliness. Anyway, 73 round. So far, W4KR is out, N4IYQ is out, NKL is out, and PFI is out, and N4WD is out. So, Dave, go ahead, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WA4LLR, 73 to all the folks who have already left the building. Thanks for calling it, Steve. And glad Charlie was able to go to Lee's memorial service. I bet John of EVC is there too. Anyway, enjoyed it, even with adverse band conditions. And hopefully next Sunday will be a little better. It'll be an interesting comparison based on time and solar space weather. So 7-3, God bless everybody. Have a good one. Lord willing, we'll catch up with you on Tuesday morning. I believe Mir's still there. Let me see if he can hear me. WF2U, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR and the group WF2U. Well, I have no problem hearing at all. People have problems hearing me. Well, you know, I'm sort of QRP in comparison with everybody else, with about 35 watts. I used to use it regularly on the old Trent set when conditions were good and nobody could play copy. So obviously we need a little power. So next week I'll go with higher power. But I have no problems copying. The receiver on the G76 is working great, and everybody is just booming in here, except for Bruce. WD was very, very weak, but everybody else is just very, very strong. So back, let's see. All right, if John is still here, then you pick it up. I hope you copy. Otherwise, the next is the lineup. KN4R, this is WFTU 73 off.
Okay, Mir, very good. And solid copy that time, by the way, on your 25 or 35 watts. WF2U and the old friends, KN4R returning for the 73 round. Very good on everything. And I hope Charlie takes a few pictures of the memorial service for us. So I'm going to say 73s. I hope everybody has a good one, and hope to hear some of you 8 o'clock tonight on 1864 AM. I guess we'll start off, and if we have to, we'll change modes. So 73s, and take it away, John. KZ4B in the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Brian. And Mir, I copied that transmission, the whole thing, beginning to end. A good copy. Let's see here. Glenn and Steve, thanks for getting me the frequency. I need to get up there and do a little DXing, and I'll try 18.155. Shifting gears, Steve, Harbor Freight, they have a store in Concord that I swung by to pick up more Schroomslau, heat shrink. And while I was in there, they had their 590 lumen flashlights that have use four AAAs on sale for $7.99 each. So I picked up two of them. Normally they're like $14.95, but they were on sale. I don't know for how long, I guess till they're gone. And there's a Harbor Freight, I think, in Gastonia. So you might, if you still need any, you could give them a buzz and see if they're on sale over there. But unlike some Chinese stuff, it's all, the 590 lumens are all there. And it's a well-made flashlight with a glass lens, and it's variable focus. Raging bargain. So on that note, I'll say 73s all around. Steve, thanks for calling the net. Hope everybody enjoys this warm week that's supposed to be coming up. I'm all for it. I can't be too hot, but I can sure as the devil be too cold. So, let's see. I guess Chuck is still there. I hope so. If not, straighten me out, Steve. N4IYQ in the group, KZ, and you're booming in, Chuck. KZ4B, over.
Yeah, he's gone. Goes to Tom, FJQ.
WA4FJQ. I'm not sure who I'm getting it from other than you, Steve, and I'll send you the link to that Dutch-built QRM eliminator. I'll just send you an email with it. Like I said, I haven't gotten it in. I don't know if it's going to work or not. but I've watched a couple of videos on it, and it seems to work pretty well. You can also get probably about the same thing off of Amazon for about $50. I got one and plugged it up. It was defective, so packaged it up, sent it back, and said give me credit for it. Hopefully this one from overseas, Holland, the Netherlands, will work a little bit better. But at any rate, copying fairly well, a little bit better, but not great. At any rate, thanks for calling the net, Steve. I don't know who I turn it to. If Jimmy's gone, I guess I go to N4AK. This is WA4FJQ 73s.
WA4FJQ K4JAL. Yeah, I'm here in a fashion, I guess. So that's about it for me today. I think I give it to Glenn. I ain't been paying much attention. Yeah, M4AK. Hello, Glenn. K4JAL 73.
Okay, Jimmy. K4JAL in the group. November 4 Alpha Kilo. Well, I'll tell you, since running a little bit more power than I ought to. Right here, just a minute. Now I'm back on. I don't know how my power shot up there, but anyway, it did. All right, John, on the work in Vietnam, and all of you fellas, if you can get on QRZ, you ought to look. It's very interesting, this guy's history, and a picture on QRZ.com. And again, that call was 3 Whiskey 9 Tango. And what's so amazing, when I was in Vietnam in 67, Pleiku was kind of a village. And I got on Google Maps, and I couldn't even find my way around. The town is, I don't know, it looked like probably 40 or 50,000 people living there now. And the other town that I was familiar with that served time was down on the coast and called Quy Nhon, Quynhon. And we had an airstrip right along the ocean on a peninsula. And that whole area has been turned into a resort area. Where the airfield was, it's kind of the mall. Stores on both sides of the airstrip thing, so it wasn't even an airstrip anymore. And I guess they're lucky that the South Vietnamese didn't win the war, because obviously they've got their act together now, and it's really booming over there. And this fella charges $4 PayPal for a QSL card, and I don't know how much it costs to send, but if he works 25 stations, that's $100 coming in, so he's probably doing all right. But look him up on QRZ.com. It's an interesting story there, even if you don't work DX. So I'll pass along my 7.3s, and I believe it's going back to you, Steve, N4LQ, N4AK.
Roger, Roger. Any final comments? All right, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you showing up and putting up with the conditions. And I'll post a link to the recording so you all can listen to that in case you missed something, and or just want to hear everything all over again. 73s, and see you tonight at 8 o'clock on 1864 if you can make it. This is N4LQ closing the net. Good night.
You gonna be AM or sideband tonight?
We'll start out on AM.
Roger.
Thanks for calling, Steve. The wind had blowed one side of my ladder line loose on my last transmission, so I'm surprised I got out at all. It's WB4NKL.
I wonder what happened. That just wasn't, it wasn't the typical NKL signal. Okay, see you later.
You must have a good pair of binoculars. You found that problem in a hurry. This is N4AK.
It was where it comes into the building, Glenn, so it was, I've got it with the alligator clips, and wind had just jerked one of them loose.
Okay. All right. Good to hear you. And your signal is definitely back where it ought to be, N4AK.
Yeah, I seen that. I didn't see a standing wave. I seen my current final plate meter dropped way back, so that's the reason I cut it short. 73's WB4NK on out clear.
What'd you pick up at Charlotte, Cliff?
Nothing. A $10 dummy load, a 20 kW dummy load, but what Nick England had is a water-cooled deal. I don't know. It's just interesting. And I picked up a Morrow receiver from John, but that was a prearranged deal. So that's about it. Not a whole lot this time, Dave.
Roger. Okie dokie. I figured you didn't come back empty-handed. All right, have a good evening. Hope to catch you in the morning. WA4LR.
73's WB4NK out clear.